Hello everybody! I think everybody knows that nowadays USB sticks and drive have become one of the most important things. The storage, memory, and the saving files and the type of them depends on that what you will do. So today we're gonna look up how to work with disk utility on macOS. So it's quite easy to use, to say the truth. So, go right now! So, Disk Utility app helps you to manage your drives, to check out their state, and to understand what's going on and what they will need to do next if you're experiencing troubles with them. So, you can manage your external drive, something like this. USB stick is not an exception. And you can also manage your internal drive, something for example like system drive or Macintosh state. So there you can partition drives, you can run first aid, you can fully erase them, and then reinstall macOS if you need. So disk utility is quite useful app. Which is it in Windows? In anyone, even in the last one. Disk utility can be accessed in really easy way. Just open Launchpad, where all applications are available, and open Other Utilities folder. The disk utility is right here. This is the disk utility of OS X, El Capitan, and later versions, including Sierra, High Sierra, Mojave, which I'm running in this time. So you can just experience great disk utility and easy in usage just by running these operational systems. So Big Sur is held absolutely the same way, but it just looks much more slimmer because the whole design of Big Sur has been verbessert, how people say in German. So okay, so we can toggle the view sidebar. It is the easiest action here. So sidebar, that is the main attribute of macOS really. So here we can view if it is not hidden. So we can show only volumes. Only volumes are here shown. So only applicable volumes which can be used right now. So look, so I mean all these guys except in the network, so are shown here. But if we show all devices, it shows much more. It shows Samsung SSD 840. So this is an owner, a device which owns the disk one. Disk one is my terabyte external drive, but I was experiencing troubles with the memory. I just added it. So and now I will try to explain you how to understand the theme of our disk utility operational patients. So, for example, this is a device which owns some volumes. For example, this couple is in my hand. My hand is a container. So this is this container. So and then I rather show you. So then, for example, let's take one of these bands. So this is a volume. This is a volume, yeah. And each of volumes, if it's applicable, if it's not a unibody like this band. So it can just consist of partitions. So we can just take this out. So this is the partitions. So drives can be partitionable, drives can be unpartitionable. So it depends on their type, which can also change. You can also change in disk utility. So now we can just add the volume. So we can just add the volume to this container disk. VFS container, though, this is just a system container which I added just for comfortability. And just look, we can just add an external volume, an additional volume, sorry, to this container. So what does it mean? So we just add the same volume, which can be partitioned surely, to this container, but we don't need, so therefore let's cancel. First add. What does first add mean? For example, if you're experiencing trouble with the memory or with your computer, even if it's bugging because you're stuck in memory, for example. So we can run, or you're not sure whether your computer is full of viruses or not. So we can run first aid. First aid is by default here, standing here in the middle. And it looks in such a way like a doctor's ears, which are put in here. First aid helps you to detect viruses and troubles with your drive. The drive you choose, for example, you can run first aid on the volume, you can run first aid on the device, you can write first aid on the container. So then partition. Partition is the most common action which is connected with drives. Partition, how I earlier explained to you, it is like a part of this object. So, for example, we can make this pen partition. So, for example, this is so it was a pen. So this is a partition. This is a partition. So partition, this is a hidden external element, which is so partition just helps you just to divide your drive. For example, if you don't want to make it masked with files, you can just partition it, and that's all. And you can just hide it. And if you have second memory, you can just unlock the partition, mount it. I will talk about mounting the drives a bit later, and just start using the other partition. So just don't pay that attention. So we can also erase. So why is it here unavailable? And here also. We cannot erase the drive which contains the system. So this is used. So this is a system owners enable type of first volume. So untitled, look, it is just shows here a finder icon. So that means that this volume owns a macOS. So you can, though in earlier versions, so there wasn't shown this icon, this finder icon, and everywhere you could just erase them. Therefore, a lot of macOS owners would just crash their PCs and they needed to restart their computer using a USB bootable volume. And if they had another Mac, they were just buying a bootable USB. Or if they couldn't, they would just pause their laptop. Okay, so what can we do? We can erase a device, but I'm not really sure that it's available with a system one, because there is a system volume. So we can erase also internal volumes where the system isn't saved. So surely it's okay. So erase. If you are just say, oh, I'm fed up with this type of files, and I need to immediately erase my drive. So you can just click that button, and you don't need just anything using the bin, using the trash bin, and immediately deleting and permanent deleting. So just click on button, and so on, and it's all. Then restore. You can just restore your drive using an image. So for example, if I need to make this disk a bootable one, for example, I just own an ISO file, something like this. For example, let's just search for Big Sur ISO file. So here we go, and I just want to make it thus that this Big Sur ISO file just was on this disk one, not just was like a file, but it was just bootable one. So we can just use the restore option. We can also add an image to that, but image, it is not the same. It is a bit another. So about that a bit later. So restore, we can just drag here or find here an image. So it is usually DMG one. This is inside there is inside the installer one in the folder contents share support. You can find there install asd.dmg, and usually this helps you just to create a bootable volume. So it's not just by the USBs, but also by micro SDs. Also, if you're Mac, you can insert one, and everybody can insert it. So unmounted volume and mounting it. So for example, if you don't want to see for example, this Untitled 2 in your Finders folder, and you just don't want to see it anywhere on the desktop folder, you can just you can just delete it because it's not compatible. It's just a type of file which can be deleted. So you can while you're dragging on the trash icon, it shows like eject icon. So that's not really the eject icon. So you just unmount it. So if it's an external volume, then you just eject it for all this for this moment. So you can just take it out easily. And here you can just unmount it because this volume is not a physical one. This is a part of physical volume. So Blackstore is a real physical box, which are these containers and these volumes are saved. But this Untitled 2 is not a physical one, so therefore you cannot just eject it. So the same situation with this one, so you cannot just eject it. You can eject it Samsung SSD 84 and something like this, but you cannot eject the volume, cause it's just understandable. So mount, they do the same, and we do absolutely the same as we do when we insert the USB or micro SD. So then about image, I was talking about image. So we can just save this image. Let me just save an image of our Blackstore media. So it's not just a JPG picture. It's not a PNG image. It's just a disk image. It's much more interesting. So I'll just save it. Operation cancelled. Why? Creating disk image from Blackstore. Why did it not succeed? No ideas. Oh yeah, and convert. So it's not applicable here because it's system volume. It's just device. Sorry. So convert. What do we do when we convert a device? So for example, if you need just to convert a USB stick in that way that it could install, for example, some OSs. For example, is just a usual MS-DOS FAT stick. So this can lead you to troubles while making a bootable installer. So surely when you do it via terminal, it does it automatically. But if you're doing it via disk utility, you need to solve this trouble. So what does convert mean? For example, if you got a SATA internal physical disk, so you using the convert option, you can just change its properties. So you can, for example, from have a fast volume or master boot record if it's created like Windows bootable one, but you have a reset calls you need it. So you can convert it, for example, to Git partition map. It is one of the most common types of volumes in Apple disk utility, because we are just talking about the partition of this video. And mean information is just understandable. So here you can find everything. So BSD device node. So this is how this disk is named it will be named in the terminal. So for example, this device is named disk 0 because it's start one and it's default one. And this Samsung SSD is not the natural one, so it wasn't. It was on macOS. This MacBook Pro wasn't sold with it. So therefore it has a surname disk 1. And also about the disk types, the most interesting thing is erase. So we can just so while erasing the drive, so the most interesting thing why disk utility is not like other ones, like other disk utilities from other developers. So macOS disk utility allows you to erase volume at the same time as changing its type. So for example, if you're experiencing troubles with drive and you need to change its properties, so at the same time you can just erase it and you can just automatically convert it. So here we go. So it is an erase window. So look, we've got a lot of types here. APFS, Apple File System. So it is a usual Apple File System. For example, if you're on this type of this type of volumes, you cannot save backups. This is a file type used by Time Machine. So then encrypted, case sensitive encrypted. So it is raised by security type. So case sensitive and encrypted is saved by password, and if it's and you can reset it using an Apple ID, by the way. And macOS extended, it is the most common one. macOS extended can be used for storing their backups and for just using it like a bootable drive. So macOS extended journal encrypted, case sensitive journal encrypted. So here is not, by the way, journal is not really secure one, but it's great for making format. For example, journal, so it writes just all the logs. But there is no one macOS extended without any journal, so it just write up the logs of the installation, for example. Journal encrypted, case sensitive journal encrypted, so it's raised by the security way. MS-DOS pad is used by the volume by the time when you just create Windows partition on your main drive or something like this, something of type like this. And you use MS-DOS pad, so Boot Camp Assistant does it automatically. And XPad is absolutely the same, but for other operational systems. For example, Linux, E5 boot and so on. And shim. So each volume can have format and shim. So each format type has the same shim variants. Git partition map, also the most common one. So for example, Git partition map. So for example, let's turn to this pen. Yeah. So this pen is a volume which owns, for example, a Git partition map. So we can just easily make a partition of it. So for example, my Blackstar PX256 and min1 drive. So it is using Git partition map. So we can just create the partitions and install the different operational systems. And for example, if you use Apple partition map, it can be also partitioned. But if you will use master boot record, this like this pen, I cannot just take this out, anything here out. I cannot just take it out because it's master boot record and it just saved the one wall partition for all the volumes saved. And it is used also by Windows partition by the way when you are just doing the boot camp. Not really sure that it will work because I just tried to make my 16GB USB stick to install on via Bootcamp Assistant Windows tab, but I didn't succeed sadly. So this is all in Disk Utility. Disk Utility is quite useful app. I think it will help you one day. And see you next time. Bye. It was a really great pleasure just to see you here.